Hello and welcome to future YouTube viewers to this video in which I will be going over and exposing one of the worst examples of the predatory nature of capitalism that I've ever experienced in my life. Okay, so we're going to be going into it and we're going to be getting into the details. So just a bit of background for you. A couple of years ago, I worked for a collectible coin company. Now, I'll go into the details of how it worked and how it operated, but the simplest way that I can put it is this. This company would essentially sell coins to people, mainly old people, and that's it. Okay? That's the simplest way that I can think of describing it. However, the truth of the matter is, this is an absolutely enormous grift and a scam and a sham. And I'm going to be getting into it and I'm going to be going over it, okay? Now, just to preface this, I want to say, this isn't me giving you advice about whether to buy gold or silver or not, okay? I'm not equipped to understand what your needs are as to whether you would need to purchase that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you to buy anything. This isn't about telling you to buy gold or crypto or anything like that. Forget all that, okay? This is simply a segment in which I plan to hopefully very clearly lay out the nature of the business, how it works, how it makes money, and why it's a grift, okay? I wanted to make that clear because we'll be going over some stuff with gold and how the gold buying and selling works. I just didn't want anyone to think it was any form of advice, okay? So that's the first point. The second point is it's been a couple of years since I left the company. They fired me essentially. Basically, I wasn't performing. I'll get into the detail of this, but I was struggling to perform with the targets they were setting. And I'll go into that a bit later, okay? But I got fired basically. I have spoken about this on stream before, but I wanted to go through it again and really nail down on the details so people can understand how bad it is. So before we get into the details and before I kind of lay out the details of the scam and how it works and so on, what I need to do is give you an extremely quick education, okay, like a very, very quick education on how gold works. So what I mean by that is running you through how the buying and the selling of gold works, okay? Because this is a fundamental thing you need to understand in order for me to then explain about the coins, okay? So, how does gold work? So, with any commodity like gold, silver, platinum, whatever it is, okay? There's a few things you need to understand. Now, the first thing you need to understand is what is the spot price of gold. So the spot price of gold is the current live value of gold. So and that's influenced by like a whole host of things, okay? I'm not like an economist or a commodities expert, so I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what goes into that. But in any case, it's the current live value of gold. So at the moment, 1 ounce of gold, the spot price for that, so the value of that for 1 ounce of gold is £1,335 and 81 pence. Okay? So that's the current value of gold. Now, how does the buying and selling of physical gold work? So gold is formed into, obviously they mine the gold wherever they mine it. And then gold is formed into different forms. So you get like bars of gold. If anyone's seen like a Hollywood film where they have a heist, and they go into the bank and they get all the bars of gold, that's like a bar of gold you can have. And that ranges in weights. You can get ones that are like grams all the way through to ones that are kilograms and higher once again. Yeah. So you can get different sizes. Now, for a number of reasons, one popular way of owning and storing commodities, including gold, is to buy a coin, right? So you buy like a different type of coin that's made of gold. And there's a number of different types of gold coins that are available that are made in mints around the world. So in the UK, the most popular, probably, I mean, there's different types even within the UK, but one of the most famous, prominent, and popular types of gold coin from the UK is the sovereign, right? And the sovereign has got a very rich history, dating back hundreds of years. We don't need to go into the exact details of like the history and stuff, but it's got a very rich history, which is why it tends to be quite popular. Okay. Now, across the world, you've got like the Krugerrand from South Africa. You've got the American Eagle, the Canadian Maple Leaf. There's a number of different gold coins from around the world that are very popular, and all of them have got a history that you can go and look into and explore in more detail if you want to. Okay. But the key point here is about how the buying and selling of these coins work. Okay, so you see here, the current price of gold was changed actually just then. Look, the current price is £1,335.02. Okay, so if that's the spot price of gold, how do companies like this, Bullion by Post, so they're buying and selling coins all the time, how do they make their money? Well, it's really quite simple. So let's look at a coin here. So if we look at, for example, wait a sec. If we look at a 1 ounce gold Britannia, okay, to keep it simple, right? So if you're looking at a 1 ounce gold Britannia, if you wanted to buy a 1 ounce gold Britannia, bearing in mind the current price of gold is £1,335.70, this bullion dealer will sell you one of these coins for £1,421, right? And the more that you buy, the lower price it becomes. Yeah. But even if you were to buy 1,000 of these, you're still paying £1,403. So obviously this isn't an exact science, but if you were to do the maths on that, okay, so if you were to get your calculator up and you were to take 1403 and you were to minus off 1335, so that gives you £68 times 1,000. So even if you were to like buy 1,000 coins, the company would essentially make, give or take obviously their overheads and whatever, but in terms of the money they make, it would be £6,800, right? Obviously more if they've purchased these coins at a lower price previously, because the price of gold goes up and down, yeah? So, what if you're selling one of these coins? So if you're selling a gold coin, a 1 ounce Britannia, yeah? They'll give you £1,282.25. So these buying and selling prices, right? These buying and selling prices are kind of within a reasonable boundary of what the current price of gold is. But just a couple of years ago, an ounce of gold was only worth about £1,000. So you would have been selling your coins, your 1 ounce Britannias to this bullion dealer for about 960 quid, right? So they're making even more money on coins that they've purchased previously, and they've benefited from the price of gold going up, yeah? So hopefully this is making sense so far. Hopefully this is all making sense. Really simple. The idea with gold is you buy it for the lowest price you can, and you sell it for the highest price you can, right? And some people will purchase gold, it's like as a speculative purchase with the hope that the value will increase over time, yeah? Pretty simple stuff, pretty straightforward investment type stuff, right? So that's what is known as bullion coins or bullion gold. So you're basically trading the gold based on the intrinsic value in the metal. By intrinsic value, obviously what I mean is the value that society places on gold, right? Because obviously it doesn't really have any intrinsic value except the value that we as a society put on it. But moving away from like the lefty type thought processes, it was called the intrinsic value, yeah? So that's gold coins. Now, further to that, you have something called numismatics, okay? What does numismatics mean? So numismatics is essentially the study and collection of currency. It's basically the hobby of collecting coins, right? So some people will buy coins not because of the intrinsic value or anything like that. They'll buy coins because they just like collecting coins. They're just a collector, yeah? And that's what numismatics is all about. Now, some people that are into numismatics aren't interested in the value, they aren't interested in the price going up or anything like that. They just buy it because they like it. However, in some cases, certain coins that have got a rarity factor, right? Some coins that have got a rarity factor, it can have a significant impact on the value of that coin, okay? So, basically, when it comes to this, it's a combination of rarity and desirability, right? Because at the end of the day, with any of this stuff, a coin or anything is only going to be worth as much as someone is willing to pay for it, okay? So, let me show you an example of this quickly. So this is the 1933 double eagle, okay? Do people here know what a double eagle is? Cointastic. Oh, hey, Transnational, how's it going? Okay. Well, listen, we don't need to go into the details, okay? Here's the key information that you need to know. Okay? This is an approximate 1 ounce gold coin, okay? So, in theory, this is a 1 ounce gold coin, therefore, it should be worth whatever the price of gold is that it's sold at, right? So about £1,300, yeah? Technically, it's a gold coin, it should be worth that. However, for a number of reasons, which goes into quite a lot of history, okay, these coins were melted down. So you can see here, there were 445,000 of these coins made, okay? Right? But a lot of them were melted down. Now that's because basically in the 1930s in America, they removed the gold standard and moved to a fiat currency system, to put it simply. So much of the gold was collected and much of it was melted down as well. So a lot of these coins ended up being melted and they were no longer, okay? All but 2 were ordered to be melted down. 20 were rescued from the melting and they were stolen and found their way online and stuff like that. So bear in mind, this coin is 1 ounce, okay? Its gold worth is about £1,300 as of today. However, in 2002, a private collector paid $7.59 million for this coin, which has got gold in it that today is worth about $1,700, say. Yeah? So, but this is the thing, Scribble. For like a collector, the historical significance and relevance of this coin is enormous, yeah? I won't bore you with the details because it is kind of dull if you're not into coins, but there's a lot of history that means that a top-end collector would be wanting to pay this kind of money for this coin, yeah? So this is like owning a piece of history. This is the equivalent of buying like the Mona Lisa or something like that, but for coins, right? That's the concept and the idea behind it. And what's even more incredible is this is a gold coin, and I want to focus on gold because it's easier to make it all relative. But there's even like silver coins and some coins that aren't even a precious metal. Because of the rarity of them, they are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. Really interesting if you're into it, but I don't want to delve too much into it, okay? The rarer and more collectible something is, the higher the value. That is more, you're more or less there, but it's about how desirable it is as well, which we'll get into, because this is all of this is important. This is all essential information that you have to know in order to really understand what I'm going to talk about, okay? Now, further to that, this is a more kind of recent development over the past 40 or 50 years that this has become more of a sort of prominent thing in the coin collecting scene. There's something called proof coins that have become quite popular. So let's just go into that quickly, okay? So this just goes into the details here. The Royal Mint strikes coins to 3 different standards for investors and collectors, okay? So proof coins are essentially high quality commemorative. So basically every coin we've been talking about so far are what are known as bullion coins. So bullion coins, the focus is primarily on mass production of the coin. They want to have the ability to strike or to make thousands of these in the course of a few minutes, okay? So they literally just rattle them off. It's like bang, 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 bang. They go through the machine, all collect up, okay? So the focus isn't so much on the quality of the minting of the coin, it's about mass producing them, yeah? So producing them as quickly as possible to yeah? So look, 250 gold and 3,000 silver coins per hour. Yeah? And then there's Brilliant Uncirculated, which we're not going to go into too much, but that's a little like a step above Bullion. But what I was talking about is this. So proof coins, okay? So proof coins are commemorative coins. So they're minted and made to a much higher standard. Like a much higher standard than a regular bullion coin, okay? You can see the difference if you compare the two side by side. Let me see if I can actually just find a quick picture of it to show you. So, bullion versus proof. Look, here we go. So those are the different qualities. That's proof here. So proof, you have like this kind of frosting on the design. And that's just the standard bullion one. That's Brilliant Uncirculated. But bullion and proof, okay? So basically it looks a lot shinier, okay? It looks a lot shinier, first of all. That's the first point to mention. Now, with proof, not only do they focus on higher quality, but proof coins are minted in much lower numbers. Proof coins used to be the coin that the mint made initially as like a proof of concept for the coin. So they would base their designs on that, to put it really simply, yeah? But now, mints will make a small number of proof coins, okay, in order to sell them as a collectible item, right? So, broadly speaking, how it tends to go is people that are buying bullion coins are doing it for the raw investment potential of the gold metal value, yeah? And it's supposed to be, okay, people that buy proof coins, right, are doing so as a collectible, and that's it, only as a collectible, okay? Now, that's the background, that's the groundwork set for how all of this works. So now that you understand that, you're going to be able to understand everything else that I talk about now. If there's any questions or you're not sure about anything, please feel free to ask in chat and I'll do my best to answer any questions you've got, okay?